As we're decluttering this room, I don't want you to focus on what I'm decluttering. I want you to focus on why I'm decluttering it. The big reason I found that I would keep so many things that in the long run I'd realize I never used them was because I could find multiple uses for items. It didn't matter if it was an old pickle jar, an old shoebox. We can easily fall into the trap of wanting to keep everything because we have this amazing new purpose for it. And while that's awesome, and don't we all teach reduce, reuse, recycle, there is a limit to that because time is limited, because space is limited. And while you might have some amazing ideas, which I'm sure you do, reusing that pickle jar might not be the best use of your time. You might come across some items like this, like a pair of socks you've never used, but you know that you could use them, and an opportunity might arise where you need some soccer socks. The thing I've started thinking about more and more as I declutter is, yes, I could in the future use these socks, and yes, there's nothing wrong with them. Actually, these have never been used. My old self could find a ton of uses for these socks, whether it was to give them to my daughter to make a puppet show. Those ideas, while they are fantastic, don't actually help me decide if I need this or not. That I did have this for a long time, and yet those things never happened. Why is that? Why did I not start using these in different ways that I thought I could? I just don't have the time, the bandwidth to be able to take on that project. It's not that it's not a good project. It's just that I don't have the time. In the long run, somebody else is actually needing a pair of soccer socks and are going to be able to use this right now for that need. Me finding another way to use it, which is what my ADHD brain loves to do, is a great idea. But did I do it? No. And that's why I can let these things go. So just in here, as I'm still decluttering this one area, I thought of another reason why it's really hard to get over the fact that we just don't need everything. Wonderful, luxurious clothes that we picture ourselves wearing, and yet we never do. They are hidden up in the top of a cabinet and they never come down, but they're pretty, right? And therefore, it's really hard to let them go. Those fantasy self items, those things that were expensive or luxurious, that unfortunately in the long run doesn't change the fact that we don't pull it out, we don't use it. I want to live in a place that is full of things that I really enjoy, not projects. The more things that we keep that are just projects, things that we eventually need to take care of, the more overwhelming our space is going to feel. There's lots of very creative and amazing thinkers out there. You're probably one of them. As a creative person, overthinking every object meant that I didn't do any of them. Anyone else ever feel that way? The spring cleaning fever might just be beginning to hit you. We're really trying to declutter, but getting stuck over and over again. As you are thinking about a different way you could possibly use this item, or even someone that you know that might be able to use this item, I want you to stop in your tracks and think about a few things. Is that person going to really appreciate this item? Or are you just thinking they might because that would make you feel better? I would give away large quantities of things to people that I knew. I didn't ever stop to think whether I was really benefiting them by giving them all these things, or if I was creating more of a burden for them. And so while it's great to reuse things and to give them to people that you know, and in some cases that can really help you to declutter them, at the end of the day, what's going to happen is you're going to be hanging on to those bags for probably a while, waiting to give them to that person. They're going to be forgotten when you end up going to visit that person, and then you hang on to them for even longer. So if you are really ready to clear out the closet, stop worrying so much about how each individual item could go to any specific person you know, and start looking at your room as a whole. How, as a whole, can I really take the largest amount of things out of here in a short amount of time? If you've ever seen the show Hoarders, this is something they talk about a lot. If you decide to look in every single little basket, you're never going to get it done. And if you stop on every single little object to try and think of the perfect person to give that object to, you are never going to finish, or it's going to take you a very long time. So let's speed up this decluttering process by taking only the top 5% of things that you want to give to a certain person, putting those aside, or even inviting them over. If you know you have a lot of things to give them, invite them over during your declutter and have them take it right there in that moment if they want it. When it comes to our paper clutter, I have changed my mind drastically over the past 6 years of decluttering because I was given a lot of paper from when I was younger. I also have found that I've started to hoard more and more of my daughter's things and squirrel these things away. Now, while I'm not saying that's bad, because if you're enjoying them and looking at them brings you a sense of satisfaction, then that's exactly where you should be. But there is a point where I've noticed there's a bit of a line that I tend to cross. When we initially look at something, we get this gut feeling. Oh my goodness, this is so cute. I remember when she made this. Oh, yes, I want to keep this. At the same time, this is something that has been away in a basket for about a year. And I haven't pulled it out to look at it again. Neither has my daughter. And it doesn't take away from the fact that it is beautiful and that it was a really nice thing for us to enjoy during the time, but does it need to stick with us forever? That's really the question. Even if it does spark the joy, do I have the mental capacity to continue to hold on to it year after year? Is it worth my space? Is it worth my time and energy? That's going to be different for all of us, but it is something to think more about as you're touching your items, as you're looking through old pictures and things that have been handed down to you. This is something that I really enjoy. I'm glad I kept this. And I am glad that every time I look at it, it still brings the same amount of joy. But can I say that about every single piece of paper that I've kept over the years? No. Questioning things and continuing to go through your things is going to help you be more aware of why you're keeping things. And that's really where the magic is. We are all going to have more or less in our house than other people. And even though I call myself a minimalist, other people might not. And that's totally fine. The thing is, finding your balance. I can keep so many things that really spark joy, but I don't need to keep every little thing that sparks joy. And I don't need to find a different purpose for it. And I also don't need to find another person who's going to enjoy it. I can let this go because I know now that I'm going to be okay without it. I hope you're enjoying this. And if you are, then please join our little community here by subscribing. And of course, if you're decluttering today, then throw a heart emoji down below. But one of the biggest hiccups that we, or should I just say myself, along the way has had while I am decluttering is hanging on to things because they either belong to a set or they belong to something else. And I am using and enjoying one or some of that set. Have you ever thought about a time that you've done this as well? And maybe you're even running into that hiccup right now. I got rid of the first couple of bowls that came in a set, and they were my mixing bowls my grandma had given me, and I really was only enjoying the biggest one. And yet I realized I was hanging on to the other two because they belonged to the set. It felt weird and wrong. It almost felt like somebody would be upset that they were only getting one or two of these bowls. And in reality, if you need a bowl, you need it. You would still be happy to have it, even if it didn't have the whole set together. And I'm coming to the same realization with this science kit that I gave my daughter. The large part of it she's never used or enjoyed. She likes to take out all the little pieces and take them outside and play with them, but she's never actually put it all together in this big kit and used it. And so therefore, why are we hanging on to it? It takes up a lot of space. It's been up in the back of her closet for several months now, never being touched. These things, as we're decluttering, will start to come to light as we are thinking through the process of decluttering. You might start saying to yourself things like, well, I do use part of this and I enjoy it, or somebody's not going to want only that section of it, or it's wasteful to declutter or trash this piece of it because I'm not using it. Those ideas, though, aren't wrong. Do stop you from decluttering and getting rid of the things that you're not using. They go back to that idea of, I can find another use for this. I'm going to keep hanging on to it. And so for me, continuing to say that if I had the idea, if I was going to do it, I would have done it. And if I really am sticking to the fact that I want to use this in a different way. I have to remind myself it has to be done today or this week. If I can't do it today and this week, that is continuing the cycle of keeping things that are just turning into clutter. It's one more project that I know because of years past, I do not have the capacity to do. So I'm coming to the end where I'm gonna stop because I only set about a 10 to 15 minute limit to this declutter. And I know it's not gonna be perfect. I'm gonna walk out of here and there'll still be things that could have gone. And that's the beautiful thing. It doesn't need to be perfect. As we are decluttering our stuff in our home and we're getting overwhelmed and we start to just want to run, is when we declutter our clothes, there are a ton of questions we could be asking ourselves. But when it comes down to it and we get stuck and we think, I could definitely use this in a different way, even if I can't fit in it or it's old and raggy, all these questions stop us from doing the one thing we actually need to do, which is clearing out this space and giving ourselves more room to enjoy and find peace in. That's really what it comes down to. Are you ready to live in a space that brings you peace, even sacrificing things that possibly could have another use? And because I've been able to set a limit, I know that it doesn't necessarily matter that I have the perfect home or solution for these clothes. What really matters is that we need the space back. We need to take back our home. And if that at the end of the day is how you are living in your home, then you will find the best thing to do with your clothes and you will find the best people to give your things to, but it's not going to stop you from achieving your goal, because at the end of the day, we all just want to live a little bit easier and we all want to be able to enjoy our things the best of our ability. And all those items that are holding us back are stopping us from getting to that end goal. And so I hope you've enjoyed this video. And as I finish up the last little bit of this declutter, I just wish you guys all the very best. And if you want to continue learning, then you can click on one of the videos at the very end.